Stephen. I'm 72 September.
What's a memory from childhood that you remember?
Uh, let's have a look. I think primary school, the earliest time. Yeah, playing in the playground as a 6 or 7 year old. I think that's the earliest. Do I remember anything? There are smatterings of memories, but as like a proper memory, pretty much, probably school. Yeah, early school. And I also was brought up in a housing estate in Clapham. And because I'm a boomer, there was millions of us. We outnumbered everyone. Kids outnumbered everyone. So, and everyone played on the streets as well. Football, getting up to mischief. We drive everyone mad, everyone. So there was like just hordes of us. That's about sort of like early memories. And then I suppose the next bit is teenage, I suppose. And I was a skinhead on Brixton Hill, not the racist skinhead, but the ska. Reggae wasn't around then. So that was round about 68 to 70, round about that period. And I used to hang around Brixton, around that place, that part of the world. Then at 15, I got an apprenticeship as an electrician. And that took me all the way to 21. But then that was a funny period because I outgrew the skinhead bit. I went into a sort of like, I can't remember that bit very well, between 16 and 18, until I met a girl, and had my first experiences. So I was a couple for about 18 months or so, something like that. But that's when I discovered cannabis, LSD, all that sort of stuff, what teenagers do and stuff like that. But not any addiction, nothing. I was still working and everything like that. It never affected my work. Pubs, that sort of thing, clubs. Then about 76, the punk thing happened, which completely changed the fashions and everything. It was a lot more freer. Everything was much nicer then. The clubs were better. Didn't have to dress up. You could go in jeans and T-shirts and stuff like that. Then that happened. Started as a young apprentice. Big crowd of us went to Spain in an old bus, right through France and Spain and everything like that. That was when I was about 22, something like that. Came back, earned a bit of money, met some people who went to India, overlanded it to India. So I decided to do the London to Kathmandu trip, right through into Greece, then into Turkey. It was quite easy actually, through Turkey into Iran. Got caught up in that revolution in Iran, curfews and everything. That's where it was a bit scary actually, quite a lot of it. Right through Iran, through a place called Mashed into Afghanistan. I went all around Afghanistan, went to see the big giant Buddhas who the Taliban blew up. And it was great fun. And most of us were quite stoned all the time as well. So went over into Pakistan, visited the greatest place in the world, a place called Peshawar, which is in Balochistan, Pakistan. Brilliant people, fantastic. All had guns, everything, But you don't, no problems. Into India, into Nepal, round India. Ended up in Goa as a hippie, sitting on the beach, and then made my way back. And what happened after that? Oh, I went again. I liked it so much, I went again. So I spent about four years just traveling around India and places like that, and lost a lot of weight. Came back, met a girl, and I'm pretty much, that's it, really. Had 2 children. Got a house. I lived in Streatham. I've got a house in Streatham, which I'm lucky enough. Big garden. I'm big on my garden and everything, and that's it.
If you would relive one year amongst these years you've really traveled, you've experienced so much of life, which year would that be?
The best year, I would say between 78, 79. would be quite a good year. I quite like the 70s. The 70s was quite good actually. It was it was all right. It was easier, you know. At least when you went to work, you could afford a deposit for a house, you know. And I'm talking about you could buy a house in places like Clapham and Battersea. Then, you know, you can't get anywhere near there. You can't even get round here anymore. So that's actually we were better off that way in that respect. And but now's okay. I'm off to Thailand for 6 weeks in November. My son's treating me to a flight, and I'm off to Thailand, Laos. Then I'm going to do the whole of Vietnam into Cambodia, and then back here. I'm doing that in November, October, November. So I'm having quite a good time, really. You know, it's quite good fun, and I got really good health as well for my age. So.
And how do you feel living in your body now? How does it feel?
I feel quite good actually. I do weights, yoga, I swim, I do a lot of walking. So I do a lot of exercise, and I keep my weight down. So and I have a good diet as well. I don't usually eat junk food or stuff like that. So yeah, I actually feel quite good. I feel.
Without a doubt, speaking to you, I can tell that you are a man that has made a lot of good choices in your life that has brought you to where you are now. There is a sense of satisfaction there.
Yeah.
But is there any regret that you feel you've experienced over time? That time has really taught you?
Yeah, I think a lot of people say this is people you get involved with. You don't realise how quite nasty they are, you know, within themselves. You know, you tend to. I'm quite a trusting person, and you put your trust in people who are quite, you know, not very pleasant. You know, I think that's my main regrets. Is just some of the nasty people I've met, but it hasn't been. You know, it's been a bit of a bumpy road. You know, it's not all been that good. You know, it's been hard, especially with a mortgage, wife, kids, and everything. You know, you have to go to work. You know, and these construction sites, some of them are really bad conditions as well, freezing cold sometimes. But you know, it was okay. And I used to cycle. I cycled for 30 years to work, West End, the city, even right over to Camden Town. One of the main reasons is because I couldn't afford the fares. Really, I couldn't. I didn't ever had no money. I
That
never
was
had no
back
money
then.
until.
The fares has gone up so much now.
Yeah, I suppose that's what people are doing now, aren't they? I know it's a lot. I used to be the lone cyclist going to work, and now there's thousands of people on their bikes now, which is a good thing. It's really good. But everything's okay. With all that though, what happens is a lot of all the roads lead to the same point anyway, don't they? It doesn't matter. A lot of different paths you can take, but you know, I'm saying that I'm really, really quite surprised the amount of friends of mine have gone. You know, and one of my best mates who I went to India with, he's just passed away just Christmas. You know, and I couldn't believe it. You know, and that's someone. When you get someone who you know really well, you know, what passes away. You know, loads of people. What you know, so and so's gone. You'll experience it when you get older. That's strange. You know, less and less people around you. So
And what do you think is one thing that a lot of people can stop doing now that will help them live a better life?
uh,
Something they can stop doing or start doing intentionally.
well, I think try and get a little bit fit. Get your mind and body in good nick. Maybe take up a bit of yoga or weight training is really good, excellent. But I'm trying to think. You see, it's difficult to tell someone what to do because they're going to encounter different things, aren't they? You know, how can you tell someone? You know, there's plenty of books they can read, isn't there, on Buddhism or whatever. You know, so it's very difficult to give someone an advice on how to live their life. You know, I think the best thing is your job. That's the thing. Choose a job you really like, even if the pay's crap. Just do the job, and you'll get better at it. And as you get better at it, the more chances are you make a living out of it. But try and do that's because you're going to spend most of your time at work anyway.
Yeah.
Between the ages of 20 and 70 now, 65, 70, you're going to spend most of your time at work anyway. So do something what you really like. That would be the best thing. And that'll be about it, I think.
Thank you so much.
But try and have a bit of fun as well. Try and have a bit of fun in between. Have a nice holiday or something like that, you know. But that's about it, really. If you can keep yourself cheerful or try and feel happy, then that's it, really.